detox therapist and a life coach. I have a baby who's 5 months old, so I'm recently a mum. And since becoming a mum, I found that there really aren't all that many resources available to mums for this support. So that whole it takes a village to raise a child has really, we feel like it's been lost along the way somewhere in our society. And so by having this whole program and bringing you women together, we want to bring that back. So thanks for being here again. I'll just introduce, I've got a few of our team members. We've got Amanda up the back. So say hi to Amanda. She's awesome. And we've got Ray and Flip here as well. And we've come together to bring these events to you, to, like I said before, to help support you and bring back that whole tribe feeling. Is there anything you wanted to add, Ray? Enjoy, have fun.
Thank you for coming.
No kids.
Yes. No screaming babies.
Best.
So tonight is going to be a bit of it's the launch for the program. So it's kind of, we're really open to your feedback and your thoughts on how we can make this better. So please, if you've got any comments or anything, if you want to come up and tell us at the end of the night or send us an email, we love feedback. Good, bad, whatever it is, you can't grow without feedback. So, before I forget, welcome again and congratulations to you all for registering and deciding that you wanted to be here, for saying yes to yourself and coming and showing up, because as you can see there are a few chairs that aren't filled. So for you guys to be here, it's impressive. It's so impressive and it's awesome. So congratulations. We're going to get in the zone a bit and do a little bit of a meditation. So we might turn the lights off, please, Flip. I did have some feedback earlier about people thinking that meditation is really, you have to sit and go, and it's a bit scary. But as mums, you know, we do get caught up in how busy our lives are, and so now, you know, being away from our homes is a great opportunity to just take a breath, to take a moment to just, you know, congratulate yourself for being here. So I'd like you, if you're comfortable to, close your eyes and just take a big deep breath in through your nose slowly. And out through your mouth. Let all the stuff at home, whatever's gone on between now and before now, let it all go. Just focus on being here tonight in this moment and really embracing what I'm going to present to you. And again, congratulating yourself, because we don't congratulate ourselves enough. We always try to be Wonder Women and try and do all these things at once, but sometimes it's good to just sit, close your eyes, catch your breath, and enjoy the now. So just take another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you're ready to, just open your eyes. How are we feeling about this light? Is this a bit more comfortable for everyone?
I think so.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
We might leave it. I'm enjoying this light. Okay, so again, I mentioned briefly who I am, but I'm 26, okay? And sometimes people think, oh, 26, how can you be a life coach? But the reality is that I have a story, as do you, and I've overcome lots of things in my 26 years, as I'm sure a lot of you have. And I teach what I've overcome. So I help you find confidence, reconnect with yourself and learn to love yourself, because that's what I've learned to do. So one of the biggest things, I guess, in my life is this whole asking for permission. Hands up if you feel like you've ever, actually everyone put your hand up. Leave your hand up if you've ever felt like you've needed to ask permission for something. As an adult, more so than a child. Okay, so I'm not the only one, that's good. Leave your hand up if you've ever felt overwhelmed. Okay, pretty much everyone still has their hand up, okay. And leave your hand up if you feel like you're a bit disconnected from yourself. You're not quite sure what you want anymore. Okay, cool. Perfect. Put your hands back down. So you're all here for the right reasons. That's awesome to see. So that's the thing that I find in particular, is that us as mums, we really do get caught up in our kids. And the reality is that one day our kids are going to grow up and go to school, and we'll have to go back and do things on our own again, and we'll have to find something that lights us up again. And a lot of the time, us women, that's scary. So for me, I had that happen to me when I was 24. So at 24, so not that long ago, obviously, I'm only 26 now. But at 24, I was at a job that I hated. It was paying really good money. I had an awesome car. It was my dream job. I was out on the road. I was a sales rep. And it was awesome, but it wasn't for me. And so every day I get in my car and I just feel so frustrated and so stuck. And I wanted to leave, but I felt like I had to ask permission. I felt like I couldn't just leave. I wasn't confident enough to just leave. And so I stuck at it, and I'd come home and I'd take all my frustration out on my partner, and I was really, really unhealthy. Like, I was always stressed out, I always had really bad skin, I was always eating just whatever I could because I just wanted to not think of how much I hated my job. And then I started finding self-development. So then I met a mentor who became my coach, and I worked with her and did a lot of self-discovery, and in a very short time I turned my life around. So in only a year I found what my passion is, which is coaching, and I started my business. So at this time I had a mortgage of my own as well, so money could have definitely been an excuse for me, but I got to a place where I believed that I was worthy of having the life that I wanted. And I knew what I wanted at this point. So I'd taken all these steps, and I knew where I wanted to go, and I knew what I had to do, and I let it all go. I let that whole asking for permission thing go, and I just did it. And the hardest phone call was to my mum, telling her that I was on my way to quit my job, and she was like, "What are you doing? You know, what is coaching? Who even does that? You haven't done a business course, blah, 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 blah." And in that moment I just said, "Mum, I just need you to support me," because that's all we need sometimes. We just need people around us that support us, that get us, that want to help us. And so that's why we've created this space. Because sometimes, as much as you want your partner or your sister or your best friend or your parents to get it, their beliefs are just so far from where you are that it's just not going to happen. And so our aim from this program that we're launching is to get to this place of self-belief, getting to a place where anything can happen, but you know within yourself how to kind of get in alignment and just live, okay? How does that sound? Does that sound like something of interest? Okay, cool. So, I'd like to know a bit about you now. So this is the first time I've done this exercise. Usually at workshops and stuff like this, people say, "Oh, turn your phone on silent and don't look at it," but I'd like everyone to pull their phone out, please. Assuming everyone has a phone. Yeah, everyone's Are you okay?
I'm just slow.
Okay. Okay, so we'd like to know a bit about you. So first question is, how many babes do you have? So by that I mean kids. Do you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 or more? Cool. So yeah, it's cool, isn't it? So it's looking like most of you have 2 kids. Awesome. Has everyone submitted?
No.
No.
We're still one still.
That's okay.
I tried
that's
to
okay.
put it in, you could spell.
That's alright. I can put yours in for you if you'd like.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, actually, I can't put it in, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so good on you. Okay, so we got those. Now, how old are your babes? So do you have infants, toddlers, school-aged children, adolescent, teenagers, or young adults or older?
And husbands are included.
Unfortunately, no.
That'll be adolescents.
Yeah.
Babies.
Cool, so most of you are, it's looking like toddlers and preschoolers. Okay. Has everyone submitted? It's fun, isn't it? It's like a little game. Okay. And what attracted you most to this event? So we've got Mind Detox, community feel, not sure, it just appealed to me, want to find myself again, I want to learn tools and techniques to take into my everyday life, or in-person support.
No, all of the above.
Yeah. I'll accept that. Okay, awesome. Perfect. So you're definitely all, like I said before, here for the right reasons. So, the next question is, when was the last time you did something for you? Recently, that's meaning in the last 1 to 2 weeks. Kind of recently, which is in the last 2 weeks to a month. A while ago, which is 1 to 6 months. Can't remember, or you're dreaming, right? Oh, good. Okay. Okay, cool. So it's looking like most of you kind of recently. Okay, we need to get that up a bit. Our aim is to be recently, okay? Alright, awesome. So now, if you could just close your phone for the time being, that would be great. So now we kind of know each other a little bit better, the anonymous seatings. So as women, we're so focused on nurturing and we forget about ourselves. So from what I saw in Zeetings, it looks like we definitely need to start focusing on ourselves a bit more. So tonight we're going to let you dip your toes into this 10-week program and experience a taste of it. And the program will begin in term 3. We will go into that later. So I'm going to give you a couple of tools and exercises to take home with you and use in your everyday life. And my hope for you is that you leave tonight with something. Whether it's an aha, whether it's being excited about using Zeetings, whether it's whatever, an aha moment or whatever, I would love for you to have taken something away from tonight. So, put your hand up again. Leave your hand up if you've ever heard a voice in your head tell you not to do something. That you're not good enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough. So we've all got it. Leave your hand up if you know what that voice is. Okay. Who'd like to tell me what that voice is?
It's probably like the subconscious bad side on your shoulder, just telling all the negative, which we tend to do into.
Exactly. So you're so correct. It's our ego. So I call her Negative Nancy, and she's your subconscious mind. So I won't go too much into where she came from and stuff like that tonight. That's something that is covered in the program. But I want you to now think about that voice, your negative Nancy, your ego, whatever you want to call her. I want you to think of something that she's whispered to you recently. So maybe it's, I shouldn't do that because someone will say that that's not right. Maybe it's, I shouldn't eat that because it's chocolate and I'm going to get fat thighs. Maybe it's, I'm not good enough to do that, no one cares what I think, I'm not smart enough to do that, I'm not pretty enough to do that. So think of something that in the last week or so you've heard in your head that's held you back. Now, I want you to write that down, write that sentence down. So every day, you can keep writing as I'm saying this bit, but every day that voice, that negative Nancy, taunts us all. So you're not alone in having that voice. Everyone has that voice. She taunts us at work, at school, around friends, when we're alone, when we're in front of a mirror, even when we're watching TV. She's literally everywhere, this little voice. But you know what? Do you know that none of those things that she says are justified? Because they're things that you told yourself when you were a child, and you no longer need to believe them. You no longer have to let that voice control you. And that's power. So is there anyone struggling to think of a sentence? No, okay, cool. So everyone's got a sentence. Perfect.
Same, so I'm trying to
Yeah,
narrow
if
it
you've
down.
got a few and you want to write them down, go ahead. I talk a lot about bringing things to your awareness. So as long as you're aware of them, then that's power. And we'll go into a bit more about power tonight. But when you just listen to your ego and let her rule you, that's giving away your power. But when you bring it to your conscious awareness and think, okay, so that's my ego, that's not true, that's powerful. Okay? So just note that you can change this voice, okay? So there are two reasons why people don't do things. Does anyone know what they might be? Yep, fear. Yep, definitely. Anyone else?
Lack of confidence.
Lack of confidence. Yep. So they both link into these. That you either tell yourself you can't, which is your lack of confidence or your own fear, or the people around you tell yourself that you can't, so you believe them. So what happens is you either give up or you never start in the first place. Has that happened to you? And as I was saying in my story before, that was my everyday. Every day I was listening to my ego. I was listening to what my parents were saying about, stay your job, it's safe, like you've got a mortgage, justifying my fear. So I just stayed there, even though I knew that wasn't what I wanted to be doing anymore. And as women, particularly as mums, like we've said, we rarely do things for ourselves because we worry so much about everyone else. We worry about having dinner on the table. We worry about the kids going off to school. We're always thinking about everyone else and we rarely think about ourselves. So we feel stressed out, overwhelmed, frustrated, stuck and unsure about the future. So the problem with all of this is that if you're feeling this way, what type of example are you setting for your kids? So if you're unhappy in any area of your life, be it your relationship, your job, your self-confidence, anything, your kids are picking up on that. And that's why we want to educate you, because we as a group and you as an individual can change this. You can change. Your kids don't have to be in a room sitting here at the age that you're at wanting to learn these things, because if you equip yourselves with them, you can teach them all this stuff, and that's power. So again, it's your whole life. It's your self-esteem, relationships, careers, all that stuff. So think about now, what example are you setting for your kids at the moment? Is there something that when I was talking popped into your head that you thought, yeah, wow, that's going to rub off on them? If you felt, and if anything popped in your head, write it down. If nothing did, that's fine. So I just want you all to know that your life, that the only person that's responsible for the quality of your life is you. Not your husband, not your kids, not your boss, not your parents, not your friends, not what you see on TV. You. You can choose what you want to believe and you can choose what you want to learn. For so long, we've been thinking, behaving, seeing, listening and speaking the way that we've always known, through our own filters. It's time now for you to take off your filters and give them a clean and start looking at the world from a fresh perspective. And that's exactly the journey that we're offering for you to choose. The world is what you make it, and your inner world is constantly being reflected back at you. If you recognise that thoughts become things and what we attract, and that we attract whatever it is we think about the most, you'll soon realise that everything that happens comes from us. That's a quote from one of my favourite authors, Gala Darling. But it's true. So any problem in your life, think about how you can take responsibility for that problem. And I know for some people that might be a really daunting question. How can I have been responsible for this? But it's food for thought. So it's not easy to stop blaming people, and it's definitely not easy to take 100% responsibility for yourself. But trust me, when you do, it means that you're taking back your power, and everything in your life changes. Magic happens. I call it magic. Some people say it luck. Oh, that woman's so lucky. She's not lucky. She's created that for herself. And you can create luck, magic, whatever for yourself as well. So, if you had no excuses, what would you be doing differently in your life? Think about that. If anything's come up, write it down. Because the things that come into your mind quickly when I'm speaking, that's your truth. But then when you shut that off and when you let your ego come in and tell you, no, you don't want that or whatever, you're not listening to your truth. You're not trusting your gut. So the first thing that pops into your mind is your subconscious. Follow that. And try it. Like tomorrow when you're out and about and you're at a cafe and you're deciding whether to have a coffee or a tea, go with the first thing, because that's what your heart wants, so just go with it. So, what happens when you point your finger? What's happening with my hand when I'm pointing my finger? Yeah? These 3 fingers are pointing back at me. What that means is that every time I call it jump on the blame and complain train, you're pointing your finger and you're giving away your power, but it all comes back to you. And the funniest thing about complaining is that we always complain to someone that can't change it. So we complain to our partner about our friend, who our partner can't change our friend. We complain to our friend about our boss, who they can't change that. We rarely complain to the person that we have the problem with. But if we started to, trust me, your life will be so less dramatic. Yeah, you might have less people in your life, but if you're complaining about them, maybe there's a reason for that. So, by changing your mindset about any given situation, you can change the outcome of it. So how awesome would it be if that friend that you had that annoyed you didn't annoy you, because you're choosing to not let that annoy you. You're choosing to look at that with love. So many things in your life could change if you just looked at them from a different perspective. And rather than being reactive all the time, reacting to what your partner says when he walks in the door and you're flustered and he says something and you just react. Or rather than reacting when your boss, gives you some feedback and you take it as a dig at you and you're not doing your job right and rah-rah. Rather than reacting and listening to your ego, you can choose to respond. So, I guess the biggest thing for me, and like what I was finding when I wasn't taking responsibility for myself, was that, like I said before, I hated my job and I'd walk in the door and my partner would be the one that was there, so I'd literally just throw it at him. All my stress, if I walked in the door and there was a dish on the sink that wasn't clean, bam, he copped it. And you can imagine, like, our relationship just really, really, really got bad. And it was only when I manned up and took responsibility and thought, wow, Erin, you're being a mole, like, you really need to sort yourself out, that we started to get in a better relationship, and now, I'm as happy as Larry with my partner. And the other thing with that was too, on the times when like I'd come home and I'd been tired and had a crappy day, and I'd say to him, look, I'm having a crappy day, and we'd sit there and I'd bitch about everyone at work and how much I hated my job, and he'd sit there saying, it's alright, like, yeah, that person, maybe that customer wasn't nice, blah, blah, and he'd agree with me. And so then I'd feel even more justified for why I was angry, and then he'd fuel it more, and then we'd just sit there and this energy would just keep going back and forth about how crappy the situation was. But he was fueling the fire, and we all do it. I call it jumping in the hole with someone. And start to notice it when you're out with coffee with your friend. Notice how, rather than just saying nothing, because you don't have to say anything. Sometimes your friend just needs someone to talk to. You don't have to always agree with them, because you're just making this negative energy, and then you get slumpy, and then you want to eat the chocolate cake because now you're depressed and let's just do whatever. Whereas if you just help the person through it, guide them, suggest, be a bit more proactive about it, that's powerful again. So going back to this whole putting the blame on people and things, putting the blame on people and things for the way that you feel and trying to control them, that is fear-based, completely 100% fear-based. So how do you get the power back and instead have better self-esteem and be the master of your own choices? You live above the line. So whip out your phone again and go back to Zeedings. And this is the line. So accountable, responsible, taking ownership. If you're doing those things, your life is going to be a whole lot better. But when you're denying, when you're justifying, when you're defending, when you're blaming, that's living below the line, and that's only keeping you stuck. It's keeping you stuck in your problem, and it's not being proactive, it's not helping. You can't control the chaos around you, but you can choose how you handle it. So when we blame and complain, we're reacting, rather than choosing how to respond. So I'm going to give you some tools on how you can, next time you feel like you're reacting, next time that you get triggered by something, someone, whatever, I'm going to give you a tool to help sort that out. How to choose how to respond rather than react, and probably make the argument worse, get in a pit, and then probably, for me, I used to stay really angry at someone for like weeks. I could count on, I don't know how many fingers, the amount of friendships I lost because they'd say something and I'd be like, oh, they mean this, and what a bitch, I don't want to be her friend anymore. When really, she was just saying what I was thinking. And yeah. So, your phone again. So just for a side note as well, you do have access to these slides. So if you do want to download them or screenshot them, whatever, you're welcome to. So this is how you respond rather than reacting. You think, could this situation be happening because of something that I said or did? what did I do or not do to allow this situation to occur? How did I contribute to this situation? What might be the lesson for me in this situation? So going back to, I've recently become a mum, so I'm sure you can all relate to the first few months of motherhood and your baby's crying and you're really being triggered. This has really brought up some testing times for me to work on my self-development. But when I find myself being triggered, my daughter's name's Imogen, by Imogen, I think, okay, obviously I haven't really done anything or not done anything. Like sometimes, your baby just cries and no matter what you do, it's not good enough. So I ask myself, what can I learn from this? And it's always, Erin, you need to work on your patience. And then I can take away something from that experience and think, okay, I triggered, I overreacted then, that wasn't good, it wasn't a good vibe for her, but I'm going to work on my patience. I'm going to be more mindful of this and I'm going to try, I'm going to give it a whirl. So, think of a situation now that you could use this on. Is it daunting for some of you? Nod your head, shake you if it's not. Yeah. Because it can be really hard thinking, wow, I may have something to do with this. This might well be a lesson that I need to learn for myself. I want you to practice this. See what comes up. Practice it tomorrow. Practice it when someone cuts you off in traffic. Practice it whenever you're triggered and see what happens. Breathe through it. So this really is an ongoing journey. You don't just go to a seminar and then you cured of all your problems and then you walk away and think, oh wow, life's awesome, I'm going to go quit my job and do this. That's not how it works. We're always learning. We're always growing. We're always developing. And you always need someone. You always need someone supporting you, someone on the same page as you, someone helping you, because accountability is so key. And how many of us, we start on a diet or we start eating really well and then we see someone else eating a chocolate and we think, oh, I want to eat that chocolate, and then bam, you've had the chocolate, so then it's like, oh, well, I've had one, I may as well have 10. And then slowly you're dwindling. It's the same with personal development. You need to keep going. You don't just go to the gym, work out, get muscles, and then never go to the gym again. It doesn't work like that. So self-development is exactly the same. So it really does take a whole lot of self-control, self-love, and self-discipline, but you can do it. And you know how I know that you can do it? Because you've all come tonight. That's showing that you're committed to yourself, and that's showing that you want to show up, you want to help yourself, and that's awesome. So keep with that, because like I said, look how many chairs aren't filled. You guys need to really give yourself a pat on the back. So, what if you believed in yourself? What if you had the tools, the knowledge, the support to teach you how? How different would your life be? Maybe it'll be more happy, more fun, more exciting, more full of love, more freeing. I know for me, the whole thing of freedom is really important to me. So now is your time to start. Now's your time to say a hell yes to you. On your own now, in this moment, surrounded by women that get it, that get the situation that you're in. Because we're all in this together. You don't have to do it alone. Now is your opportunity to step up and overcome your ego. To reach your goals, to actually reach them. Not to just set them and leave them aside and then get to that date and think, oh yeah, I had that goal. No. Now's your time to actually reach a goal. Now is your time to be part of a real life community. Because again, you don't have to do it alone, and now more than ever as mums, we need to lead by example and teach our kids that if they put their minds to it, they really can succeed. They really can achieve, and they really can live a beautiful life. because it's easy, but we overcomplicate it. Particularly us women, we really do overcomplicate things because we listen to our negative mind and then we get in the hole with it and then we just think, oh, it's all too hard. If we're open to opportunities and possibilities and open to, hey, maybe the answer will just come and that's fine, with ease, that's when the magic happens. So our aim for these events is to prove to you that you are worthy of abundance, and that once you believe that, you really can create whatever you want in your life, be it good health, your ideal body, new friends, better relationships, self-love, more confidence, more time, whatever it is that you want. Because you can change your mind, and you don't have to be surviving. You can be thriving. I heard a girl say yesterday, you could give your kids McDonald's and they'd survive, but would they thrive? No, they wouldn't. It's the same with our minds. We don't have to just be keeping our heads above water. We can be enjoying all these things in our life. The most important thing that we have is our mindset. Change that and you can change anything. So again, going back to my story, for so long there was always a drama. I always was in an argument with friends. I was always fighting with my family. I was always would look in the mirror and just think, oh God, what is going on, Erin? Seriously. Everything was on overdrive. And now, I've got to 5 months with my baby and there's been, obviously there's been some hard times, but I honestly think that I've done it with ease, as much ease as I can. And just things not lack of sleep and stuff like that. I'm at a point where it's easier because I've developed myself enough to be able to respond rather than react. And I want you to all get to that place. Whether you've got babies or whether you're at your job or, whether your toddlers are running around and it's just all too much. I want you all to be at that place where it's I can just be here and enjoy this moment. I might actually I'll read this quote because this is, so many of you have toddlers. One of my clients, Tanya, she has 2 toddlers and we work together. So this program is online, but I want to bring it live. So that's why we're launching this, because I feel like there's so much more value in this whole interaction. So I'll read you Tanya's experience from the program that was online. She says, "Today's a normal day. I've been up since before the sun, thanks kids. The house is a mess. I have work and study to do. I haven't eaten properly. There are so many chores and jobs that need doing, and the kids won't sleep and keep making more mess or fighting. But as I'm attempting to find my kitchen bench under the post-party kerfuffle, something shifted and I had the realization that I'm happy. I am happy. It's not because of an event or a moment or anything other than the fact that I just am happy. I don't remember the last time I had this feeling, this just because happiness, the kind that soothes you to your core, the feeling you get when you aren't spending every minute of your day at war with yourself over something. I still have bad moments and even bad days. Yesterday was shocking, and I haven't been particularly interactive here. That's on our group. I'm not really that person, and I'm behind on the inspo work, blah blah blah, but I'm happy. I can feel the difference it has made in my life." And then she says thank you to me. But Tanya was a stay-at-home mum, so she wasn't working or doing anything, and her kids are getting to that point where she is alone a bit more because they're going to kinder and daycare and stuff. And from doing the program, she's actually now doing a coaching course herself, which is awesome. But yeah, she's found her passion, and that's the biggest thing for me, to see someone actually go from being so overwhelmed and everything's really hard, to being at a place where she's passionate about everything, and she can get, in that quote, amongst everything, she's just been able to stand there and think, I'm happy, it doesn't matter because I'm happy. And for me as well, I've got to the point where I can leave lots of dishes in the sink, and it used to really get to me, but now I'm like, whatever, that doesn't have to be done right now. The control freak in me can leave that, and I can just sit here and enjoy being with my baby, because this moment will never happen again. So I want you to go back to that sentence, one of those sentences that you wrote down before. Open that up and have a read of that. I want you to turn that sentence around into a positive one. For some of you, it might be really daunting. It might be like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to turn it around, but that is just so far from what I believe now, which is okay. But I want you to turn it around. So say if it's I'm not good enough, maybe you're turning it around to I'm enough. Maybe if it's I'm not pretty enough, I'm beautiful. Does anyone want help with turning theirs around? Or do you all feel pretty comfortable knowing how to turn it around?
I probably had one the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a business exchange with a woman, and she was very intimidating. And what popped into my head was that I'm not assertive enough to do what I'm doing. And I don't know how I turn that around to maybe I'm just not assertive as a personality. Or is it that you can be, you just are not yet?
Definitely you can be, you're just not yet.
Yeah.
So particularly like for you, and can I just add as well, that so many of these things, outsiders don't believe that at all. Like, particularly for you, Ray.
Yeah.
Like, to me, you are such an assertive, bubbly, awesome person.
Yeah.
But we don't see it, and people don't tell us it enough, which is crap. We need to hand out more compliments. It's just wrong. Anyway, going back to that, so definitely, even it could be as simple as I am assertive,
Yep.
or it could be, if that seems too daunting, like if you're writing that down and it's like, whoa, that's full on, what could be a step between being not assertive and being assertive that's kind of not as scary to get to?
So I will not be walked over.
But we don't want to affirm negativity. So we don't want to say, I will not or I am not, because whatever you're planting in your mind, you'll believe.
Can it be, could it be a journey to get there? I can be assertive enough?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I can be. And then you'll get to a place where you'll think, I am.
Yeah.
Or you'll think, okay, I know I can, now I need to believe that I am.
Yeah.
And then that's the other thing. We don't have to leap. We don't have to go from not believing in ourselves at all to I believe in myself. We can go the baby step to, I'm more confident than what I was. But don't say what I was. I'm more confident, baby steps.
Because that would be one from like, I'm not pretty enough to I'm beautiful. I mean, that's a huge leap of faith, isn't it?
Yeah. So maybe it's I'm comfortable with myself. And then the next step would be, I'm beautiful. Yeah. Its trainer will tie its leg up with a rope to a wooden post planted deep in the ground. This confines the baby elephant to an area determined by the length of the rope, the elephant's comfort zone. Though the baby elephant will initially try to break the rope is too strong, and so the baby elephant learns that it can't break the rope. It learns that it has to stay in the area defined by the length of the rope. When the elephant grows up into a 5-time colossus that could easily break that same rope, it doesn't even try. Because it learned as a baby that it couldn't break the rope. In this way, the largest elephant can be defined by the puniest little rope. Perhaps this also describes you. still trapped in a comfort zone by something as puny and weak as the small rope and stake that controls the elephant. Except your rope is made up of excuses, justifications, the can'ts, the shoulds, the shouldn'ts, all those things that your negative Nancy tells you. But the good news is that you can change your comfort zone. You don't have to be the baby elephant. So, in saying all of this, if you felt a shift tonight, in this one night, imagine what can happen in 10 weeks. I know that in time we can change your mindset and have you looking at the world from a fresh and more positive perspective. I know that because I've helped women do it in less time and with much less support than this face-to-face. Being part of a group like this really is invaluable. I don't know any groups in this area that are doing anything like this. This really does have the ability to change lives, and that's exactly why we're here. That's why Amanda, Flip, Ray and I are so passionate. That's why we brought this to you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the program now and open up for questions. As I'm doing so, the girls are going to hand out some sign-up forms, and if you know that this is something that you need and you want to do it and you know how to use a QR code, there's a QR code on the sign-up form if you want to do it online now. Just a bit of information about the Mummy Mind Detox. So these sessions are going to run every Monday night in Term 3, so starting the 11th of July at 7:30 p.m. at the moment at this venue, and there are limited spots available. The introductory early bird offer is $99 for 10 weeks, so that's one off $99, which is actually insane value. So usually events like this are at least $20, so it's more than half price. And yeah, I've been to events that are hundreds of dollars that are like this too. So other bonuses when you sign up, you'll receive free access to my online Facebook group, which has pretty much 24-hour support. I've got girls in the group that are around the world. Lifetime access to that Believe in Yourself program, which I mentioned before. That program alone is valued at $299. And you also get my eBook Dreamcatcher. And to top it off, the first 2 people that sign up will also get a free one-on-one coaching session with me, so that's an hour, which is valued at $150. Quick rundown of the program. A few topics that we're going to cover, and I'm so excited because I know that learning, it's not always great to hear the same person over and over and over. So beautiful Amanda is going to do 1 week's worth of presentation as well, and we've also got other guest speakers coming in. So we'll have a nutritionist, we're going to get a makeup artist, a hairdresser and a stylist to help come in and teach us how to dress properly and feel comfortable in what we're wearing, because the way we look is really a reflection of us. I'm excited about that because I have no clue how to do my hair. So other stuff, we're going to learn how to take back control of your negative Nancy. I'll introduce you to her briefly. We'll work out what exactly has been holding you back, pinpoint the patterns in your life, turn your excuses into inspired action, help with body confidence, help with letting go of mama guilt, which I'm sure is a huge one for a lot of us. There's a week called Loved Up Money, which is all about relationships. There's a week on money mindset and how to have an abundant mindset. There's a week called Mindful Mummy, which is healthy living with ease. There's a week about called Daydream Believer, which is all about creating that vision that you want in your life. And then week 10 is party time. So week 10 we'll be having a bit of a party, and yeah, we'll have some guest speakers then too. So every session will start with a meditation, and going back to our mission. So our mission is to motivate, inspire, support and encourage each other to thrive and to create a raw, honest and high vibe group of women who are on a mission to be the best version of themselves. Here, just like tonight, we will encourage sharing and advice and lessons and great reads, anything that we all think would help each other. So if you're ready to say a hell yes, you can join up by filling out that form, or you can do it online. And if you want to give your form to one of the girls to process in front of you, if you don't want to leave credit card details, we can do that too. So last of all, thank you again for being here. Thank you for getting involved and for, being part of that whole, I call it Whispers. I've done it at a few events now, and every time it really does, it's just awesome seeing it. Like, so many women love it. It's been an absolute pleasure to get up here and stand in front of all of you. So thank you, and thank you to my beautiful team for making, this really is a dream come true for me, having these events, and I'm so excited for them. And yeah, there's just so much cool stuff to come. My big dream, I can see it on the horizon, and it's just so exciting. So last of all, we would love for you to tell your friends, sisters, mum, whoever you feel called to tell, because the more people that know about these events, the more people we can help, and we want to help. So without further ado, would anyone like to ask